Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Jane from Misunderstood. Now today I'm going to talk about the education system and how I believe it has played a part in the mental health crisis we have today. Now, I've been studying ADHD and autism for 14 years, and over those 14 years I have come across so much evidence that suggests that there is a connection between our education system and the negative impact on children with autism, ADHD or dyslexia. Now, back in 1870, the government introduced the first Education Act. This made school compulsory for children aged between 5 and 10 years old. Now, before education had become compulsory, many children went to work. Parents were now having to force these children to go to school. These children just didn't fit into the new culture of sitting at a desk, learning to read and write. They wanted to be out working. They enjoyed the strenuous work. Now, this went on for 32 years. In 1902, they had no control over what they called a truancy problem. They couldn't get many of these children to school, so they started to fine the parents. The government was now at breaking point with the new education system that they had put in place, so they decided to give up the responsibility for the education system and they handed it to all the local authorities to deal with. In that same year, a new disorder was documented in the Lancet papers. It was called abnormal defect of moral control in children. Now let's have a look at the terminology used in medical reports over the last 200 years. They are describing symptoms resembling what we now know is ADHD. Right back to 1775, the terminology was attention deficit. In 1798, disease of attention. 1812, a syndrome involving the inability to focus attention. 1848, the nervous child. 1859, hypermetamorphosis, which is a difficulty with impulsiveness. Up until 1859, the research was mostly about children with inattentiveness. Then we get to 1885. The terminology now turns to mental instability. This was only 15 years after education had been forced onto all children aged between 5 and 10. Then we get to 1892, the unstable nervous system. 1899, simple hyperexcitability. Now in 1900s, the educational authorities changed the leaving age to 14. And in 1902, we then have abnormal defect of moral control in children. How awful. Were these the children who were hyperactive, impulsive and had ADHD? Yeah, I believe they were. But these children are now labelled with mental instability for not wanting to be controlled and forced to sit at a desk and study subjects they had no interest in. These children needed to be active. The evidence shows that ADHD has always been here. The inattentive presentation of ADHD has been researched for over 200 years, but the hyperactive presentation of ADHD was only identified within research 15 years after the education system was made compulsory and then labelled a mental disorder. The education system has created a controlled institution with a leaving age of now 18. I believe the education system is churning out children into the mental health services. Our current education system does not cater for many children with ADHD. Many are still leaving school without the grades they need, even in the most fundamental subjects such as English, maths and science. Now this has a detrimental impact on their ability to gain employment or access further education that they might need to progress in society. The education system needs to cater for all children, not just for children who are good academically. Something needs to be done. Well, thank you for listening. Leave your comments below. If anyone wants to join in on a conversation, a nice debate about the education system, whether you agree or not, then you can use the contact form on the website or contact me through Facebook. Give it a thumbs up below and subscribe to my channel to see further videos, and most importantly, press the bell so you're notified of all videos I upload. Thank you. Bye.